Hi there, Jonathan Ratchik. I'm a partner at Kramer, Dunleavy Ratchik. And today I want to talk about something that affects more families than ever before, nursing home negligence, what it looks like, why it happens, and what rights you and your loved ones might have under the law. So, as America ages, nursing homes and other long-term care facilities have become a very central part of our healthcare system. Right now, there are more than 1 million Americans who are living in nursing homes. Millions more rely on assisted living facilities or long-term care facilities. And families rightfully trust these facilities with the most vulnerable people in their lives, right? Parents, grandparents, spouses, loved ones who, for whatever reason, can no longer care for themselves. And that trust is not a small thing. When a family places someone they love in a nursing home, they're not just paying for a room and to put them out of sight, out of mind, right? They are relying on trained professionals to provide safety, dignity, medical care, and really just basic human compassion. But all too often, that trust is broken. And when it is, the consequences can be devastating. So starting out, nursing homes, obviously, or maybe not obviously, have a legal duty, not just a moral one, to provide proper care. So under both federal and state law, nursing homes have to keep residents safe from avoidable harm, provide adequate staffing, follow physician orders, prevent infections, monitor changes in the resident's condition, and really treat every resident with dignity and respect. This isn't optional, okay? Gets provided for some residents who are paying more than other residents, okay? It is what we call the standard of care. And when a nursing home fails to meet that standard, when they cut corners, understaff, ignore complaints, and what we like to say, when they really put profits ahead of persons or patient care, they're negligent. And that negligent can and oftentimes leads to injuries, hospitalizations, and sadly, even death. So many people might not realize this, but I think I already alluded to this. Nursing homes are very heavily regulated on the federal and state side, okay? There is a baseline for resident rights and facility responsibilities. And under federal law, again, residents have a right to be free from abuse and neglect, to receive adequate medical care, to live in a safe and clean environment, be treated with dignity, be protected from avoidable injuries. Facilities that accept Medicare or Medicaid, and that is basically every facility, okay? I'm not aware of any facilities that don't accept Medicare or Medicaid. They have to comply with these federal standards. And actually, the federal government actually conducts inspections of these facilities. They sometimes issue citations, they can impose fines or sanctions. But unfortunately, as you can probably expect, enforcement is inconsistent at best, okay? Violations of the law are common. And that's where civil lawyers, when firms such as ours, they play a critical role in filling that gap, right? In holding nursing homes accountable for the harm that they cause. And the New York regulations really mirror the federal regulations, right? So you have your federal regulations on one side, and there's like a mirror set of state regulations in New York that basically copy the federal regulations, okay? So there are also New York regulations that require nursing homes to provide adequate and appropriate medical care, to provide proper staffing levels, to have residents free from abuse and neglect, proper supervision, safe living conditions. New York also has one of the strongest resident rights statutes in the country under the public health law. And this law allows residents or their families to sue a nursing home for violating a resident's rights. Okay, and it provides for compensatory damages, punitive damages, and certainly in some cases, attorney's fees. So when a nursing home violates the law, they can be held accountable, and they should be. So let's talk about the common types or what does nursing home negligence look like, okay? These are the types of cases that I see most often, okay? The first one are pressure ulcers, okay? These are contrary to what the defense bar might think or the nursing home industry might think. These are not inevitable or an inevitable part of aging, okay? They are preventable with proper care, including turning and positioning, adequate nutrition, and adequate skin care. Another section, common types of negligence home or nursing home negligence cases are falls and fractures, right? So falls oftentimes happen when residents aren't properly supervised, perhaps when appropriate alarms are not in use, or when staff ignore a resident's fall risk, okay, or don't perform a proper assessment. There are medication errors when incorrect doses are administered to residents, or maybe a resident misses medications, or the nursing home, maybe their staff just fails to follow a physician's order. There are dehydration and malnutrition cases. There are infection cases, whether it's UTIs, sepsis, wound infections. This oftentimes results from poor hygiene, improper care, unsanitary conditions. In extreme cases, there might be physical or emotional abuse of an elderly resident. Okay, and there can be failures to monitor changes in a resident's condition. Okay, so when a resident declines, that requires action on the part of the nursing home staff. They have to intervene, perhaps change the plan of care for the resident, but they might have to act immediately. Okay, where delays in recognizing a change in a resident's condition can lead to harm. It can even be fatal. Okay, these aren't accidents. These are sadly oftentimes results of understaffing, poor training, and just plain old neglect. So when a nursing home fails to provide proper care, the harm isn't just physical, right? Families, they lose that trust that they have in the nursing home. Residents lose dignity, and often, and all too often, lives are cut short. And certainly, when you're getting closer to the proverbial finish line of life, taking away, whether it's weeks or months, it's meaningful, it's impactful. And holding facilities accountable, it's not just about compensation. It is about changing the behavior of these nursing homes, having them improve patient care, and making sure other families don't have to suffer the same loss that you might have to undergo. So if you believe either you or a loved one have been harmed in a nursing home, whether it's through neglect, abuse, preventable injury, you don't have to navigate this alone. Okay, at Kramer, Dunleavy Ratchik, we will investigate what happened. We will do our best to uncover the truth and hold the responsible parties accountable for the harm that they cause. We stand up for families when nursing homes fail to stand up for their residents and your loved ones. So call us, talk to us, let us help protect the people who once protected you. Again, Jonathan Ratchik, Kramer, Dunleavy Ratchik, real bow ties, real results.